Welcome, brave souls, to the realm of the unknown. Here in the heart of darkness, we unravel the chilling tales that lurk in the shadows, stories that will grip your imagination and chill you to the core. Prepare yourself for spine-tingling narratives that delve into the depths of fear, where every whisper holds a secret and every shadow conceals a terror. Join our community of thrill-seekers as we explore the macabre, the mysterious, and the downright terrifying. But remember, once you enter, there's no turning back. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss a moment of our haunting adventures. Are you ready to embrace the fear? The darkness awaits. The desert wind whispers secrets, tales of shapeshifters, beings of nightmare. They walk among us, cloaked in the skins of animals. These are the whispers of the skinwalkers, legends passed down through generations, a chilling reminder of the darkness beneath the desert's beauty. Warnings against venturing too far into the wilderness, especially after the sun dips below the horizon. The Navajo people know the desert's secrets. They respect its power and understand its dangers. Some stories are more than just stories. They are echoes of truth, whispered on the wind, a fear of the skinwalkers. Sarah, Eli, and Jonah were drawn to the desert's beauty, the vibrant colors of the setting sun. Sarah, armed with her camera, sought to capture the desert's magic. Eli, her younger brother, was eager for adventure. The vast expanse of the desert beckoned. Jonah, their cousin, felt a sense of unease. He had heard the stories of the skinwalkers. He tried to warn his cousins, but his words fell on deaf ears. The desert sun cast a hypnotic spell. Its fiery glow masked the darkness beneath. The lure of the setting sun was too strong to resist, unaware of the dangers that awaited them in the shadows. As the sun dipped below the horizon, a chill settled in the air. Jonah's unease intensified. He felt they were being watched. Sarah dismissed Jonah's concerns, focused on her photography. Eli scoffed at Jonah's fears, confident nothing could spoil their adventure. But as darkness deepened, doubt grew in his mind. The desert wind seemed to carry a warning. A sense of foreboding settled over them. The whispers in the desert wind grew more insistent. They were not alone. As the last rays of sunlight faded, Sarah realized her camera lens was missing. Panic set in. It was a gift from her grandfather. She retraced her steps, scanning the desert floor. The growing darkness made the search difficult. Finally, she spotted it near a towering cliff face. Relief washed over her, but a movement in the shadows caught her eye. A prickle of fear ran down her spine. She hurried back to her cousins. A figure emerged from the darkness, tall and slender, with the shape of a coyote. Its eyes glowed with an unnatural light, too intelligent for a wild animal. Terror gripped Sarah. She couldn't move or scream. The creature took a step closer, its eyes burning into hers. The whispers on the wind intensified, swirling around her. She finally found her voice, a scream ripping through the silence. The creature melted back into the shadows, leaving Sarah trembling. Sarah sprinted towards the truck, her breath catching in her throat. Her cousins called her name, their voices filled with concern. She tried to explain what she had seen, but the words tumbled out. Eli tried to start the truck, but the engine wouldn't turn over. They were trapped, stranded in the darkness. The silence of the desert was broken by a chilling coyote's howl. The howls seemed to mock them, taunting their vulnerability. They were at the mercy of the desert and the creature that hunted them. Trapped in the truck, the trio felt a growing sense of dread. The engine remained silent, amplifying their isolation. The desert night pressed in, a suffocating blanket of darkness. They were alone, stranded under a malevolent sky. With the truck refusing to cooperate, they decided to walk. Armed with Sarah's flashlight, they ventured into the night. Shadows danced at the edge of the light, playing tricks on their eyes. Every sound amplified their fear. They walked in silence, their fear a shared burden. The whispers urged them to hurry, to flee from the unseen danger. A faint rustling emerged from the darkness, paralleling their path. They froze, listening intently. Eli whispered, "Did you hear that?" His voice laced with fear. A low, chilling laugh echoed through the night. Jonah knew the creature could mimic human voices. They were trapped in a nightmare, hunted by something that wore the skin of their deepest fears. The chilling laughter echoed, a mocking counterpoint to their fear. It slithered through the darkness, wrapping around them. They quickened their pace, the road still miles away. The laughter followed, growing louder, more insistent. They were trapped in a nightmare, hunted by something that reveled in their terror. Sarah's flashlight flickered and died, plunging them into darkness. The laughter continued, closer now, more menacing. They huddled together, listening to the sounds of the desert night. A low, guttural growl emerged from the darkness. They were surrounded, trapped with the creature that hunted them. The flashlight flickered back to life, revealing the creature. It was tall and gaunt, with the body of a coyote but the face of something else. Its eyes glowed with an unnatural light, burning into their souls. In a voice like Eli's, it whispered, "Run!" They turned and fled, the creature's mocking laughter echoing behind them. The hunt was on. They ran blindly, the creature's laughter echoing in their ears. The desert stretched before them, an endless expanse of shadows. In the distance, a faint shape emerged, a small, dilapidated cabin. It was their only hope, a fragile sanctuary. They sprinted towards the cabin, their hearts pounding. They stumbled inside, slamming the door shut, knowing the creature was not far behind. Inside the cabin, they barricaded the door with a heavy, broken dresser, its weight a meager defense against the unknown terror that lurked outside. The cabin was small and dusty, filled with the remnants of forgotten lives. The air was thick with the smell of decay and fear. They huddled together in the darkness, listening to the sounds of the creature outside, scratching at the door, low growls, the rhythmic pacing of its heavy footsteps. It was toying with them, letting them know it was there, just beyond the thin wooden barrier. Then the creature began to speak. In a voice that sounded eerily like Sarah's, it whispered, "Let me in." The sound sent chills down their spines, a mocking imitation that played on their deepest fears. It shifted voices, mimicking Eli's panicked pleas, Jonah's fearful warnings. The creature knew their names, their fears, their vulnerabilities. It used their own voices against them, turning their terror into a weapon. They were trapped in a nightmare, surrounded by the echoes of their own fear. Hours passed, each one a torment. The creature continued its relentless assault on their sanity, scratching at the door, whispering their names, mimicking their voices. The cabin, their fragile sanctuary, felt more like a prison. Jonah remembered the small pouch of ashes his grandmother had given him, a traditional Navajo protection against evil spirits. With trembling hands, he sprinkled a line of ashes across the threshold, a desperate attempt to ward off the creature. For a moment, the scratching stopped. A tense silence filled the cabin, broken only by their ragged breathing. Then a chilling howl pierced the night, a sound of pure rage and frustration. The howl echoed across the desert, then faded into an unnerving silence. They waited, huddled together, their hearts pounding in their chests. The first rays of dawn began to filter through the cracks in the cabin walls, painting the darkness with a faint, ethereal glow. The nightmare was not over, but for now, they had survived. They were trapped in the nightmare, but the first glimmer of hope had appeared on the horizon. As the first rays of dawn pierced through the cracks in the cabin walls, a fragile silence descended. The scratching at the door had ceased. The mocking whispers and chilling laughter that had haunted them throughout the night had faded into the stillness of the early morning. The oppressive darkness that had held them captive began to recede, replaced by the soft gray light of a new day. Jonah, Sarah, and Eli remained huddled together, their bodies trembling with exhaustion and residual fear. They dared not move, dared not speak, fearing that any sound might break the fragile peace and awaken the creature that lurked just beyond the thin wooden door. The air in the cabin was thick with the smell of dust, decay, and the lingering scent of fear. The silence stretched on, each moment an eternity. The only sound was the gentle creaking of the old cabin settling, a subtle reminder of its fragility in the face of the unknown horrors that surrounded them. They listened intently, straining their ears for any sign of the creature's return, but the desert remained eerily quiet. The rising sun cast long, skeletal shadows across the desert floor, slowly revealing the desolate landscape. The rocks and cacti that had seemed so menacing in the darkness now appeared stark and lifeless, stripped of their nocturnal terrors. The whispers in the wind had died down, replaced by the gentle rustling of the desert awakening. With the arrival of dawn, a glimmer of hope began to flicker within the confines of the dilapidated cabin. The oppressive fear that had held them captive started to loosen its grip, replaced by a cautious sense of optimism. The rising sun seemed to offer a promise of safety, a beacon of light in the darkness that had consumed them. Jonah slowly rose to his feet, his legs stiff and aching from the long night. He cautiously approached the door, his hand hovering over the latch, his heart pounding in his chest. He took a deep breath and slowly opened the door, peering out into the morning light. The desert stretched before him, bathed in the soft glow of the rising sun. The creature was gone, leaving behind only the faint traces of its presence, claw marks on the wooden door, disturbed earth where it had paced throughout the night. Sarah and Eli joined Jonah at the doorway, their eyes scanning the landscape, searching for any sign of the creature, but the desert remained empty, silent and still. The nightmare seemed to have finally ended. The relief that washed over them was palpable, a tangible wave of emotion that, for a moment, erased the horrors of the night. With a shared sense of urgency, they emerged from the cabin, blinking in the unfamiliar brightness of the morning sun. The desert air was cool and crisp, a stark contrast to the suffocating darkness they had endured. The world seemed fresh and new, reborn after the terrors of the night. They made their way back to the truck, their steps lighter now, their hearts filled with a renewed sense of hope. The truck, which had seemed so stubbornly inanimate just hours before, now started without hesitation, its engine roaring to life, a mechanical affirmation of their escape. As they drove away, the cabin receded into the distance, a small dark blemish on the otherwise pristine landscape. They didn't speak, each lost in their own thoughts, replaying the events of the night, the chilling laughter, the mocking whispers, the terrifying image of the creature that had hunted them. The desert, once a place of beauty and wonder, now held a sinister significance, a haunting reminder of their close encounter with the unknown. They had escaped the nightmare, but they knew that the memories of that night would forever linger, a chilling testament to the horrors that lurk just beneath the surface of the seemingly ordinary world. They had escaped the physical confines of the desert, but the true escape, the escape from the psychological scars of their encounter, would be a much longer and more arduous journey. The desert sun climbed higher in the sky, casting a harsh light on the vast expanse of sand and rock. As they drove further away from the dilapidated cabin, the landscape seemed to shift and change, the familiar desert transformed into something alien and unsettling. The rocks and cacti, once stark and lifeless, now appeared to watch them, their shadows stretching long fingers across the sand. The silence in the truck was heavy, broken only by the hum of the engine and the occasional whispered comment about the mundane details of the road ahead. But beneath the surface, a deeper silence lingered, a silence born of shared trauma, of the unspoken horrors that had bound them together in the darkness. The desert, once a place of adventure and exploration, now held a sinister aura, a silent testament to the night's chilling encounter. Sarah stared out the window, her gaze fixed on the horizon, her mind replaying the events of the night. The creature's glowing eyes, the mocking laughter, the chilling whispers, each detail etched into her memory, a permanent scar on her psyche. The desert landscape, once a source of inspiration for her photography, now seemed tainted, forever associated with the terror she had experienced. The road ahead stretched endlessly, a shimmering ribbon disappearing into the distant haze. The journey back to civilization felt longer than the drive into the desert, each mile a struggle against the weight of their shared experience. The desert held them captive, not in a physical sense, but in the grip of a chilling memory, a haunting reminder of the unseen world that existed just beyond the veil of reality. Even as they reached the familiar comfort of paved roads and bustling towns, the silence lingered. It was a different kind of silence now, not the oppressive silence of the desert night, but a silence born of unspoken understanding, a shared secret that bound them together. They had faced the darkness together, and the experience had forged an invisible bond, a silent pact to never speak of the horrors they had witnessed. Back in the safety of their homes, the world seemed strangely normal, the everyday routines a stark contrast to the extraordinary events they had endured. But beneath the surface, the fear remained, a constant undercurrent of unease that colored their perceptions, their interactions, their very existence. The whispers of the desert wind followed them, echoing in the stillness of their homes, a chilling reminder of the creature that lurked in the shadows. Sarah found solace in her photography, but the desert landscapes she once loved now held a sinister undertone. Every shadow seemed to conceal a hidden danger, every rustle of leaves a whisper of the creature's return. The camera lens, once a tool for capturing beauty, now felt like a shield, a way to distance herself from the horrors she had witnessed. Eli, once carefree and adventurous, now approached the world with a newfound caution. The desert, once a playground, now represented a place of fear and vulnerability. The memory of the creature's mocking laughter haunted his dreams, a constant reminder of the fragility of his youthful invincibility. The whispers in the stillness followed him, a chilling echo of the desert's dark secrets. Jonah, the one who had always believed in the stories, now carried the weight of their truth. He had seen the unseen, had faced the darkness that lurked beneath the surface of the world. The desert, once a place of mystery and legend, now held a personal significance, a chilling reminder of the power of ancient beliefs. The experience had changed them all, leaving them with a profound sense of unease, a heightened awareness of the unseen world that existed just beyond the veil of reality. The desert had revealed its secrets, and they were forever marked by the encounter. Years passed, but the memories remained, vivid and unsettling. The desert held a strange allure, a magnetic pull that drew their thoughts back to that night of terror. They never spoke of the creature, but its presence lingered, a silent specter that haunted their dreams, their waking thoughts, their very existence. The whispers in the stillness continued, a chilling reminder of the unseen world, the world of skinwalkers and ancient legends, the world that had revealed itself to them in the heart of the desert. They had escaped the creature's physical grasp, but they would never truly escape the psychological grip of their chilling encounter. The desert had claimed a part of them, a part they would never get back. The unseen world had touched their lives, and they would forever carry the scars of that encounter, hidden beneath the surface of their everyday existence.
The shadows are restless tonight, and so are we. If you're brave enough, hit that like button. Let us know what you think in the comments, and subscribe for more spine-tingling stories that lurk just around the corner.